Is it your first con?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, Dev or Seg, who's your choice?
Oh no, you can't make me answer that. I think they both are great. I'm not sure actually. I think it's interesting over the series seeing how her relationship develops with Dev, and yeah, he's pretty hot.
Well, what was it about Seg at first? Like, how did he first win Lyta over?
Well, we kind of played around with ideas of how it happened. We never find out in the series, but me and Cameron spoke about it and kind of made up an idea that maybe she arrested him and, you know, he was cheeky and chatted back, and they kind of ended up, you know, she probably arrested him a couple of times, and then this kind of relationship blossomed from there. So yeah, probably something like that. Their relationship is really strained. It's kind of it's a very good representation of like a single parent relationship, in that it's very intense when you've only got one parent, and that can go either way. I think sometimes it can mean that you're very close to that parent, or it can sometimes mean that you've got a lot of issues with that parent because they're the only one, and they're the only opinion that you're getting. And in this case, Jaina is very hard on Lyta and has a very strong idea of who Lyta should be and how she should behave, and Lyta doesn't want to be that person. And on top of that, Lyta also just wants the love and attention from her mother that I think every child wants. She wants to be told that, you know, I'm proud of you, I think you're great, I think what you're doing is fantastic. But her mother sees that as kind of weak parenting. Her mother is a lot more tough love. So you see that abusive relationship kind of develop over the series, and I think you see them start to figure out as well that what they've done to each other and how they've harmed each other, and also how they respect each other. But a lot of the damage that's been done over the childhood is kind of very difficult to overcome. Yeah.
Does she interact with Adam Strange? If so, does she learn why he's here?
She does interact with Adam Strange. That's all I'm gonna say. It's in quite an early one actually. I think maybe episode 3 we kind of meet each other. Yeah.
So what is Black Zero? Because there's a lot of talk about Black Zero, but we never quite get why Black Zero is a threat.
So they're like a terrorist organisation that are basically trying to take down the system of Krypton. They want to change it because the rankless are kind of being treated as this, you know, very oppressed part of the city. And Black Zero has kind of risen from there and is trying to overthrow the status quo and change the politics of the city, and that's where the military are very much involved, because they are being used to stamp down Black Zero and make sure that basically these terrorist threats and actions are completely stamped out. Yeah, in a way, it's interesting because she's very similar to her mother in that they both have big ideals, and they're both very strong and at the centre of what they want. And I think also in the future, as we know of Zod, Krypton is so important to them. They really love Krypton and they really want to protect it, and they take that very seriously. So it would be interesting in a situation where Lyta had to choose between love and power, and being able to use power in the right way. I think that would be an interesting decision for her to have to make, because I do think that she takes her job very seriously, and that the safety of Krypton is the top of everything.
As far as I know, Lita doesn't exist. So like when creating this character, what are other roles you took inspiration from working her?
A lot of it just came from the writing. You know, speaking to the writers, and also kind of physically doing the stunt training and doing athletic training, really kind of started creating an idea who that person was. I wouldn't say there were any specific other performances that I looked at that I was like, oh, this is that person. But yeah, and also actually just working with Anne was very informative because Anne is a very, very strong person, and she'd done this sort of thing before. She was in Wonder Woman and she'd done lots of training before, and she's also just a very strong individual, and she has big principles and ideas, and I kind of learned a lot from working with her. Yeah.
Your character has quite a few fight scenes. How have you been training, and which one has been the challenge?
Well,
You have quite a few fight scenes. Your character.
yeah.
How have you been training, and which one has been the most challenging film?
The out of the fight scenes, I did training with the stunt team, so we did a lot of wushu and Wing Chun and kind of different taekwondo, and I had a great stunt double as well, so I did as much as I possibly could, but there's a lot of, she's a highly trained soldier, and there's some stuff that you can't learn in 3 weeks, so yeah, so we kind of had a great team around us. I would say that the first fight. So we had the fight in the pilot, but that was filmed before when we did the pilot. So the first scene that we did when we came back to it was the big. There's a fight in episode 2, and that was probably the hardest, just because I was quite actually scared of the whole thing, and it was a big sequence, and it was very important, and I wanted to be able to do as much as I possibly could. I didn't want it to all be the double, because you can tell. I think it's nice when you can kind of get that good symbiotic thing of an actor and a stunt person working together. Okay, good. But yeah, so that was kind of the big fear, and I just thought, as an actor, there's always that thing that comes into your head, like, oh my God, what if I can't do it? And everyone thinks I'm an idiot, and they think, why have we cast this person? And your head kind of goes crazy. But luckily, it went really well, and I really enjoyed it, and everyone was so supportive and so great. So once I'd kind of done that, it was all fine, because it was just kind of doing that first one and then being like, oh, I can do this, and then it was great.
Well, I know everything was in green screen, but did you expect the level of, CGI graphics afterwards?
Well, I mean, most of it isn't green screen. Everything that you see inside is a set. So there was no green screen inside the sets. The only things that were green screen really were the outside. So when you see the kind of big shots of the city, that was all, CGI and everything. Yeah, but everything inside was real. It was all very intricately designed. So when you walked on set, you were there, you were in it, which was fantastic. That's such a gift if you're an actor. You don't have to kind of be shown a load of pictures and be like, oh, that's over there and that. Yeah, there was none of that, which was great. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think their relationship is very interesting. I think there is a lot of love in it, but I also think I think over the series what is interesting is that you start to realise what a relationship is outside of the realms of fun. So as soon as real things start happening, that's when you see what a relationship really is. And I think Leiter and Seg are great together when there is none of that, and they're away from their work and they're kind of just the two of them. But as soon as all these other issues start piling in, I think you do start to kind of question this relationship and the strength of it and how well they really do know each other, because I think you realise over the series that they don't know each other as well as they thought they did.
So do we get any aspect of the state of their relationship?
No, you don't.
What's your favorite set?
My favourite set? I really liked the Gilded set, and I only ever actually go into it once. So I was kind of gutted about that. But yeah, I love the Gilded set. I think it's really, really beautiful. And there's like the kind of there's like a garden that's kind of strung up in the air. I don't know if we've got around to seeing it yet, but it's very beautiful. It's where the Vexes kind of hang out.
So what does Lyda think of Nyssa?
The Leiter Nyssa dynamic is really interesting. I really hope that it's very difficult when there's two women and two women in a kind of the other woman type thing, not to go down that trope of the bitchy, oh my God, I hate her. And we really didn't want to do that because it's very regressive. So I think we try to balance that idea of there being that difficulty between them, but also developing a relationship whereby Nisavex is very intelligent and very smart and very strong, and even if Lyta doesn't like her for specific reasons, I think there is respect there, and I think that was very important that we made sure that there is that feeling of they're both strong, intelligent women. They're not kind of silly little girls.
Midway through the season, we get a very good guest actor, Colin Salmon, and how is he to work with?
Great. I mean, yeah, he's fantastic. He's such a, he's one of those actors that you're like, oh my god, Colin Salmon. Like, he's done everything. He was James Bond. He's been in Resident Evil. Like, he's incredible. So yeah, that was really exciting.
Is there a particular actor from the franchise that you hope that comes on the show or to work with?
From the franchise?
Or from the franchise?
An actor or a character? What do you mean? Sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Is there a character that you want?
Well, I don't know because it's hard, isn't it? Because it's so back in time. It's 200 years before, and I always liked Lex Luthor, so he could be quite interesting. But I don't know how he'd end up on the planet Krypton. Yeah.
I just have a lot of questions for episode 6, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh no.
Especially how 5 ends.
Yeah. It's exciting. I've not seen anything. I've only seen the pilot, so.
Well, you were there.
Yeah, I know, but you kind of forget. You film over like 6 months, so you don't really get to see it, and I don't get to see anything that everyone else is in this show, so like split up.
Yeah, because it's like he's with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But there's no groups.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be exciting to see it all. All right, lovely to meet you guys. Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Got Kim Welsh for you guys.
Whose glitter is this all over the chair? George.
Probably.
Look at all your glitter that I'm about. Yeah, just a ton of glitter.
So much glitter.
I'm gonna be walking around with a glittery ass for the rest of the day.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.